So we're going to ask the basketball gods for something. Now,
we believe in the basketball gods here.
Yes.
This is not an atheist basketball show.
I'm not hoop atheist.
Yeah, I'm not hoop atheist.
I might be an
exactly.
atheist in other aspects of my life. The basketball gods are 100% real.
I couldn't believe in them more.
Yeah, 100. I mean, I got to say, as someone who grew up a Clippers fan, who covers the Clippers, I think it's undeniable their presence.
You've seen the rap.
Yeah.
Like the Clippers have been dealing with that old school, Old Testament God for some time.
Yeah. The drown the world basketball god.
Yeah. They had a tough God that they were speaking to basketball wise. So yeah, let's ask the gods for some stuff.
Yeah.
And let's pray on it, and let's hope that they deliver us some nice stuff. So what I'm asking for the basketball gods for, I want the basketball gods to let the Charlotte Hornets trade for a big man before this deadline is over.
Okay.
And the reason I say the Charlotte Hornets is because there's this massive teams in the Eastern Conference that I think any team in that mass, including, the Raptors, the Hornets, etc., I think there's room for a team there to vault themselves into the middle of the playoff picture and cement themselves as a playoff team. And what I like about the Hornets here is that they're a young team, but, they do have Gordon Hayward. They do have Rozier. They have, veterans around. This is not the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is not the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
I think this team could use some winning, a playoff berth. I just think that would be awesome. And I think what's holding them back is their defense. The only way they're going to fix that is to get a competent big man in the center.
Do you have a name in mind?
Obviously,
the gods want details.
The gods want details. I know. And it's like, I don't want to be too specific, right? Like, my dream is like, get Miles Turner. Just go get him. Make it happen. Trade PJ Washington. Whatever you got to do to go get him. But, I don't want to be too specific because I'm open to the idea that there's a big man out there who's being undervalued that we're not seeing that just can provide competency. I'm not looking for an all NBA level center. I'm looking for competent play down low. And I think that alone, can they get a player in who isn't going to cost them too much of their future that will help them defensively get better, solidify them as a playoff team, get LaMelo Ball in the playoffs, Miles Bridges. And I think Miles Bridges has proven that he's a stretch player and he can play the 4. I don't think he's a 5 going forward. So I think he can pair with, this isn't a name they could get, but let's say a Clint Capella type, right? Like last year, you bring in
That's a borderline star.
It is, right? Okay, so that might be even you got. For the Clippers, Ivica Zubac.
Okay.
Right, like that level of competency in the middle. Could they get Nurkic? I know Nurkic isn't the best defensive center anymore, but I think he would provide so much more than what they have right now.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I'm asking the basketball guards for. It's like, give the Hornets a couple more competent pieces to get them right up into the middle there and cement them.
So you want like a Cody Zeller type on the Hornets. Is what I'm hearing. I couldn't even. That would be so scary. Could you imagine that if he played for the Hornets?
Well, he certainly has had a little time there, and I like Cody Zeller. I'm not gonna lie.
I love Cody Zeller.
I get the joke. I get it. But
good. I'm glad it landed.
No, it landed. But yeah, I don't know who that guy is. Like I said, my dream is Miles Turner.
Okay.
I would love to see Miles Turner there. I think he's an incredible fit there, and he's still young enough to be part of the future there.
Yeah.
So I love that name. But that's what I'm asking for. What about you?
It's a very humble ask. I like that. It's good. And
make a trade.
The Hornets are so fun. Let's take them from just being fun to being fun and really good.
Yeah.
So I'm all in on that. I'm all in. I like
Come
that.
on, Mitch Kupchak.
All right, so I'm asking the basketball gods. This was tough. I'll be honest. This was tough. When I was sitting down figuring out what I wanted to ask the basketball gods, I came up with a few things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very wanting person, okay? So this was my thought process. After that Nets game against the Pacers, seeing how much fun it was to see Lance Stevenson playing the guitar, doing all of that, I was going to ask for Lance to stay in the league,
Mm-hmm.
just not on the Pacers, because I kind of want him on I was thinking, oh, it'd be fun to get him on a contender, so that there's a little bit of showmanship and just kind of absurdity on a team that's going to get a lot of coverage. But then I remembered Lance Stevenson is a very problematic person with a pretty brutal past.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. I can't get, for multiple reasons, can't do it.
Yep.
And I think that the basketball gods understand that.
Yeah.
The next one, I was thinking, maybe let me start this one a little selfless, okay? Because this was my, let me show them that let me show the gods I'm thinking about more than just myself. So I thought maybe I'll ask them for the bubble back. Let me get the NBA bubble back.
Oh, no.
With all the health and safety protocols that are happening right now, so many players are going out, coaches getting COVID. The other night, as you know, I covered the Clippers. Before the game, Brian Shaw was asked about looking forward to some games coming up and how they were getting ready for that. And he's interim head coach right now because Ty Lue has COVID. And he basically said, we're taking it one day at a time because we have no idea what players or coaches are going to be available for us, which was an insane thing to hear. Normalized now, if you heard that 2 years ago, you would have been like, what do you mean? So I thought about that. And, if it's not for the safety of the players, at least just consider my fantasy season to bring the bubble back. That's really what it is. And then I realized you're not really being selfish. You're a real selfish piece of shit, and it's coming through right now.
Yeah, if we're talking for fantasy, I'd love to get these players in a bubble and get my lineup rocking.
Get me the fantasy bubble.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking. So I couldn't do that. So I landed on one that I thought was fun.
Okay.
And as we know, the basketball gods are vengeful. They're not necessarily the kindest gods. They have, as we said, some major wrath.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me lean into that. Let me get something they might actually be into, acquiescing for me. So I'm asking for the Nets to get into what I'm calling a vaccine bracket.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so as we said, Kyrie Irving is back, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's still unvaccinated.
Yep.
Which means he can't play home games. He can't play any games against the Knicks at the Knicks because it's still in New York. And he can't play any games against the Warriors on the road. Well, at home. Either way, he can't play the Warriors, right?
He can't play in San Francisco and he can't play in New York City.
Yeah. So I want the Nets to land. If he's not going to get vaccinated, just for fun, let's put them in a bracket where they play the Knicks. For an entire series, you're removing their star point guard.
Wow.
And then if they can advance from that, and let's say the Nets get to the finals, have them play the Warriors. And it just completely removes them from that. Because right now, the big story is Kyrie Irving's back. He's playing some games. But I don't think it's really been discussed what that might look like in the playoffs if he doesn't get vaccinated. So
very interesting.
Basketball gods, please, in your most vengeful way, because we all know that you're capable of doing it and how much joy it brings you to just bring chaos. Let's put the Nets in the vaccine bracket.
Wow. There's a lot of angles this could go. Like you're saying, they could end up in a. This one's a little tough to come up with, but maybe they could end up in a 4-5 matchup with the Knicks, right? First round. Then it does give them the advantage, I will say, moving forward of being the away team if they were to advance past that, right? Like, so then they get to face the Bucks and have 4 out of 7 in Milwaukee and whoever these other teams might be that they would be playing going forward. So there's a situation which the 1 seed might be their worst vaccine bracket because they have the most games at home. And so we don't know which way this vaccine bracket's going to go, but we're just hoping for a vaccine bracket.
That's what I'm asking for.
It might be the 1 seed, it might be the 5 seed. We don't know. Basketball gods, you work out your voodoo and get us there.
Yeah.
But that's what we're hoping for.
And here's the other chaos angle to that is the Nets obviously are going to have to think about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, seriously, at some point, they're going to have to think about Kyrie's availability come playoff time because of these protocols and mandates in certain cities. And they might start throwing games at the end of the season to get out of what,
I think it's very possible that they could try and get down to, like I said, around the 4-5 and hope to be essentially an away team as much as possible.
But we've seen the basketball gods punish teams for doing
they
that.
do not like when you do that.
Yeah,
the basketball gods do
hate
not
when you
like
throw
when you do
seeding.
that. Yep.
So it's just a double. Like it's the most chaotic season I can remember in, I don't know, maybe the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just make it a little more chaotic. I just think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love that.
All right. Well, those watching on YouTube, hit us up in the comment section and let us know what you're asking of the basketball gods right
Yes.
now. I want to know what people at home are asking the basketball gods for.